Hi folks, welcome back to the Carver's Woodshop. This is Arlene. We're going to be doing Sniffer the Hound. Sniffer the Hound is one I did many years ago, about 28 years ago. I never put a finish on him. He was just sandy. He was a piece of, it's a little dark here because he got a little darker over the years, but it's just a plain old piece of pine wood that I cut. And here's the pattern that I got out of the book called Whittling that I showed you in Wren number 1 series, that I was going to do this one after the Wren, which I'm going to do today, or start today anyway. And Sniffer the Hound was out of a book, and I think Gene Musser was also doing some of these whittling projects in them, some of the more simpler ones. This one here has the rounded tail. As you can see on the one that I carved, you can see that the grain is running across. So right here it's going to be very critical that you don't snap this off, because I could pull on that and just snap that right off. So it's all running this way. Here's a cutout block from this pattern that I did, and this is what it will look like from the top. That was also in the book. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to get a pencil out and start to put a center line all the way down the center of the dog. Okay, that's the first thing we're going to do. Now we can't reach underneath there, but we'll get a general idea. I made the wood a little bit wet simply because this piece that I had at my house or at the farm is an older piece and very dried out. So to make it a little bit easier to cut, I use a mixture of that's just a chip there, water, and 50-50 of water and rubbing alcohol, and that really just does the trick when it comes to knowing. Now see, that's not exactly in the middle, so that's exactly the middle. Alright, so we get a general idea where the middle is on this, and you need this as a reference point. I did this with the black lab puppy earlier, so it'll give you a general idea where the center is. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to try to chop out, get you have two types of knives a lot of times. You have a roughing knife and you have a detailed knife. The roughing knives are a little thicker, like this one here. It will be a good one. If I need a longer one, I'll use one of my pocket knives, but as a beginner I ask that you do not use a pocket knife. Also, to wear a glove. If you're not sure about wearing a glove, please look at my video about safety gloves. It's on my channel. It's the very first one in the corner. The choice is entirely up to you folks, but as a beginner and an inexperienced wood carver, or a carver in general, you should wear a carving glove. I don't do it because I've been doing it for 28 years and I'm just more comfortable teaching without one. So please wear one, and I stress that over and over again because I've cut myself many times as a beginner, almost every week. So just give you a little heads up, make sure you get a carver's glove going here. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to start rounding up the nose and rounding up the head. So we're going to go this way. We're going to start chopping this out just like so. And what you want to do is it's straight down, so we would just want to chop that out like that. Okay, let me get another knife. That's not as good a knife as I like. This one here. There we go. That's a little better. We're just going to keep chopping this out until we get close to the center, and then we're going to let it go. So you're going to do that until you get to the middle of the carving itself. Okay, just take your time, do little bits at a time. You don't have to do it all at once. Okay, so what we're doing is we're doing a stop cut, and you can use the tip of the knife and just cut it out. And what you want to also do is draw how wide that nose is going to be. So I'm going to just leave a little bit of space here on either side. We can go back to it later. Alright, if you want to do it on a bandsaw, if you got the bandsaw, you can chop this little piece out on the bandsaw. But I'm doing this with the beginner in mind, that you don't have the bandsaw. So we're going to go straight down. Same thing on the other side. We're going to cut it out. like so. And then, see, and kind of work our way all the way to the end there, okay? Alright, so we're going to keep going, and then when you get offline you can finish that up to those 2 reference points. Then what we're going to do is we're going to start chopping out the ears. Now, the ears, as you see on the video, there's a little bit of a curvature. So it goes partly up the head here and goes down like this. Okay? And like this. That's his ear. You're going to do the same thing over here. Going to match that up here and kind of see where that reference is on the top. You can draw a cross to give you an idea where that starts, and then just draw it back down. Okay? So what you want to do there is you want to cut on either side. You want to put a stop cut, and you're going to cut that piece out. Okay? Just like so. There. I'll do one side and then you do the other side when you're offline. I'll show you how far to go. And again, we're going to use a reference point. We're going to put the ears probably up to here for now on either side. And the way I measure things, folks, is I take my finger and I measure, I lean it against, and then I use that as a point of reference. See how I'm leaning that against there and then drawing that line? I do that a lot, then you don't need to have rulers and all that, and it will be exactly identical on both sides. So what we're going to do when you're offline, you're going to chop this away up to this point here, right there, okay? You're going to do this straight down all the way to the front, like that. Alright? And the same thing here to the front. And then you're going to cut these ears out. You're going to get rid of this section and this section, and you're going to do the nose. And then we'll be back.